What's up, everybody? I'm Brad Mines. You're listening to episode 25 of the Halving Report. The price of Bitcoin is approximately $7,600 US, and there's about 15 days left until the next Bitcoin halving. Timestamp that at Sunday, April 26th at 8:30 a.m. With being so close to the Bitcoin halving and so much anticipation around it, the probable massive price increase, I'm grateful to have a longtime Bitcoiner, writer, trader, market analyst, and highly skilled software engineer Dan Dabek onto the show today. Furthermore, Dan is a representative of the Libertarian Society Libreland, located between Croatia and Serbia.
First, I want to ask you, what is your Bitcoin story? As in, how did you discover it and what aspects of it made you passionate about it?
I was on vacation. I was doing programming for some private clients for a couple of years, and then I went on vacation. I'm always in the markets. I was coding bots and stuff, apps to help fund managers to do their trading. So obviously, I'm completely a trader in the core. And so I was on vacation. I'm always on the markets and stuff, always on the computer, always learning new software engineering stuff, and found banner ads for Bitcoin all over the place. I heard about it in 2010 from a really good friend of mine, Dan Downs, someone I went to college with when I was 18. And, when I was on vacation, then this Bitcoin thing came up again, like 3.5 years later. And I'm like, diving into it. Now I'm a seasoned software engineer, analyzing software in general, and then discovered Bitcoin and bought about $1,000 worth that was about 10 Bitcoins. And then I just had this like fire burning under my ass to get to San Francisco and get to the heart of this whole thing. And that's what I did. I literally just dropped everything, only took what I can carry, and just went straight to San Francisco and to get into it all. So that's the Bitcoin story for me.
Now, was there certain aspects of it that made you so passionate about Bitcoin per se? Like,
specifically for me was the use case. I lived in the United States my whole life until I was on that vacation to Mexico, and I never imagined there's some kind of difficulty of sending payments internationally or trying to get products where they aren't, or even I never had the need to do a transaction on the weekend. And then Bitcoin, this thing can fly any time of the day, any place, no questions asked. That's amazing. So I definitely wanted to be immersed in something that is more powerful than anything that's on the planet right now. And there's a massive gap in adoption. So it was just it's a greenfield opportunity to be a part of it, and the skill set I have to put it into the ecosystem. So it just kind of all added up to, libertarian ideals, self-propensity, those kind of things. Bitcoin totally resonated for me in that regard. And, the space has transformed significantly since those days, 2013, 2014, all the way up till 2017. And then things changed dramatically on the market in the crypto space and what's the definition of Bitcoin and everything like that. But at the core, it all remains. You have censorship free, decentralized, anyone can download this and power it up. That's really amazing. I was stuck in closed source software for all the time I was programming, and when I seen the power that open source can do for the world, it's just like it's a power struggle that is about to tip over in the favor of open source.
Yeah, I'm definitely witnessing that too, and I think it's just so much more superior to have that open source and have as many heads working on a project as possible, and having it open for criticism. I think that's a really good thing. You mentioned your libertarian political ideology. You're a representative for Liberland to Serbia.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, how did you discover your political identity, and how did that association with Liberland come about?
That's pretty deep. Since I was a teenager, I was all about financial markets, Forex, central bank stuff. I would print out the 600-page report every month and read through it and, understand how all these numbers and activities factor into the whole global picture. So, Milton Friedman, Capitalism and Freedom kind of stuff, Ayn Rand, Atlas Shrugged. One of my heroes, Victor Niederhofer, some super successful trader out there, total libertarian. The NYC Junto, which is like a monthly gathering of libertarians. All this stuff really fused and kind of, galvanized my belief in the self, contributing to the society, becoming better to be better with others. And then Liberland I heard about in 2015 when it was settled. I was in San Francisco still at the time, and that was huge news, but it wasn't really, I didn't see how it's going to affect me. Like I had that FOMO feeling, but I was like, I'm so far away, it's not even crossing my mind. And then I winded up in Serbia, and seeing how Serbia is so important to the Liberland picture, I kind of put my neck on the line to put representation for Liberland directly to Serbia, a position not many people wanted to have at the time. And yeah, we've done a pretty damn good job, exposing crypto, libertarian, capitalist ideologies to the people in Serbia, which is like a brand new country, just 13 years old, kind of coming into its own out of socialism and stuff and trying to embrace this capitalist world. So it's like you want to shape the world around you for the world you want to live in. Serbia doesn't have that much experience with capitalism, so I thought that was the perfect opportunity to find like-minded people, work with like-minded people, and kind of expand this, this self-worth paradigm on the people of Serbia, and that's been a lot of fun. We totally changed the landscape of Serbia. We brought crypto right into a lot of people. They were scared to talk about crypto. They're scared they'll be criticized by the government and all that stuff. But me being a foreigner, and I'm not worried about risking that. And I was just like, listen, guys, crypto is crypto, and you gotta understand it and get involved in it. And here's a venue for you all to do it. So every 2 weeks we have a crypto meetup in Belgrade. We have events throughout the year. We publish content on Serbian language. We launched a crypto exchange in Serbia. We put the Serbian dinar on the map with the Bitcoin. I mean, we did a lot over there, and we still have full-time staff in Serbia. I mean, things are really great, a lot of stuff being built, very head straight, feet on the ground kind of stuff, build it and release, that kind of thing. And it's going great. I mean, you could see Serbia growing, Liberland, acceptance growing. You have so much people in the north where Liberland is. So those cities they're having a blast with the Liberland concept and helping it be a little more comfortable as it comes into inhabitable country. So I think I went A to Z there on Liberland.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. I wanted to probe you a little bit more on how Liberland and or Serbia is utilizing blockchain technology. I think I saw online that Liberland is launching their own, or thinking about maybe launching their own cryptocurrency, like national currency.
Yeah, so that's 100%. I mean, let's put it this way. Liberland is a country, right? So initially you wanted to go on Ethereum or, on one of these, be a part of another chain. But then you got now two political systems that are going to eventually clash and have a collision, right? So my point of view from the start was Liberland needs its own blockchain, a sovereign blockchain all to its own, and so that it can customize, adapt, do all the things a country would want to do with its own system. So Liberland forked EOS. There's a team of the EOS developers who are working on a fork of the EOS exclusively for Liberland. The main purpose is you have a token called the merit, and that merit allows you to vote on things within the society. And imagine that. You could be a merit holder from anywhere on the globe and be participating in your homeland. And Serbia is, as you know, its corruption level has gone down. But the only reason corruption is considerate in Serbia is because of the old ways, the old socialist ways of the way people conduct their business. So to some people, it looks like corruption. To socialist perspective, it looks like business, right? So what Liberland blockchain, the whole kind of government on a blockchain concept, that would do really well in countries where you want to involve people in the process and you want to do it cheaply. Because if you give tokens to people on their mobile phone, and they could connect to the government blockchain and do their voting and participate in the whole political process, that's amazing. I mean, you'll get real perspectives of people like you've never been able to do so before. The only thing that concerns me in terms of adoption of such a system is the amount of transparency it might give. And that's kind of like a deterrent to any government on the globe because, even the USA has a lot of secrets it doesn't want to divulge right away, and they want a timely manner. So I think that the blockchain could be used for the majority of aspects But anything that is like national security critical and stuff like that, you could always do that physically off chain and stuff, but that's a little more convoluted. But the main thing is you have government on a blockchain, you have the Liberland merit, which lets you vote. It's your stake in the country. And when that launches and it pilots out on Liberland, I would love to be, pressing the buttons in Serbia to get people to adopt a government blockchain. I think it's going to do amazing things for society.
Dan, I'm a big fan of the idea of having a direct democracy over to a mobile phone. I guess one concern is, security. Would there be vulnerabilities? How would you verify that is the person on the other end of the mobile device?
Yeah, for sure. So you would need some kind of key store. And when you store a key, you need to have a specific type of registration process. Any country that's taking in citizens does a pretty thorough checking of new citizens, right? Anywhere you'd go, anywhere, literally, you would have some kind of credentials checking of who you are, how you represent yourself. So at that moment, you can register a key to the blockchain. If you failed to protect your private key, you lost it, it was stolen, something like that, then another procedure would have to exist for you to come clean and replace your key that's registered in the blockchain. Something totally doable in a system like a government blockchain, right? Because you do have that human aspect to it. You have that human element to it. And it is a centralized blockchain in some sense, in terms of operation. Obviously, you could decentralize the computers, but it is operated by people at the end of the day, and the rules are defined by the votes of the people. So if you lost your private key, there definitely is a easier way to mitigate that situation in a blockchain setup like this than, let's say, a Bitcoin blockchain, right?
Now, are you thinking, when you're saying voting on a blockchain, are you speaking of voting on individual or specific issues, or are you talking about voting in elections or everything?
Both. There's a proposal platform. You type in what you want to see happen. You submit that, and you could vote on that. And the more tokens you have, the more clout you have. But there are other safeguards that citizens can do to veto things that are being pushed through with money. You see what I mean? Generally, if you're a citizen and you have voting power by holding merits, you'll be able to submit proposals, vote on those proposals, and see those hopefully come into action.
How far along is this in its development?
It's been about a year and a half, maybe, since the concept was brought up. So the last major update was on the Liberland anniversary a couple weeks ago. And it's in a condition that it could be launched, but let's say there are still feature sets that are being debated, how they should look before things go ahead.
Right. Switching gears a little bit on you, moving a little bit towards Safex, wondering if you can kind of give the listeners a nutshell of what Safex chain is about.
Yeah.
From my understanding, it's like a Amazon marketplace, except it's on a blockchain, where it's a decentralized marketplace. So I'm wondering if you can kind of give us a nutshell of what your explanation is of Safex and how it's superior or how it differs from a big company like Amazon.
Yeah, Safex, one sense, is it's a blockchain marketplace and cryptocurrency. So imagine the backend service of Amazon is the Safex blockchain. And you could buy, sell goods and services on the blockchain. You could access it for, the same way you access your wallet to Bitcoin or Ethereum. You could access the Safex blockchain and pull directly from the blockchain the whole catalog of items sold by anyone on the whole planet. You see, so any person can access this blockchain because it's totally distributed like a normal proof of work blockchain would be. And then anyone, if they pay the transaction fee, which is just the data fee, how much content you put about your item to the blockchain, you pay that, which could be a couple cents, a few more than several cents if you want an extensive description and tons of data. All that money goes to the miners. There's no centralized company that is harnessing those fees. And then your product is listed there. Following that, people can query for products off of the blockchain and then buy it off of you. So all escrows, all clearing takes place on the chain. So the item is inside the chain. Your purchase is inside the chain. Once you purchase something, you can then leave feedback about that item, about that seller. And that's how, reputation will grow and people will be able to discern between good sellers and bad sellers. So this is going to be amazing. Right now, Yeah.
I was just gonna intercept a little bit and ask you about how does the shipping work?
Right now, I'm working on a small little app, a little module to go into the wallet. So it's like this. Let's say you want to sell only to the US, Canada, and Mexico. So if I hash these three things, I now have a common denominator. If you came to the platform and indicated to the seller you're from let's say China, it's gonna tell you, sorry, we don't ship there. You see, you don't have to list all the countries that you're shipping towards. You put the hash that summarizes which countries you ship towards. Do you get that?
I do, but when I buy something on that chain, like who's sending me the product, who's wrapping that up?
The seller, whoever is the seller, however they want to manage it. But I went a little more technical where I was describing kind of the under the hood, how you're going to be, how you're going to be able to discern who you want to ship to, who you don't want to ship to. So basically on the wallet itself, there's a messaging app. So you can contact the seller directly, or the seller can request only shipping addresses. So the time when you're sending your money, you also supply your shipping address. That's not going on chain, that's off chain and encrypted. But then the seller can then send you that product, and then you could leave a feedback afterwards.
Okay, so then it's based on like peer review and kind of just like how you would log on and see on other big marketplaces right now, and you'd see the user has so many stars and vouch for them, I guess, and that they're a reputable seller.
Or you're waiting 2 weeks, they never sent it, and you could just go and mash on a keyboard about it,
Yeah, exactly.
At the point of purchase, you get a feedback token, and you use that token to drop feedback to the chain about the product on the seller.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. At what point did you come to realize that there's a need for a marketplace protocol like Safex?
This is all the way back from 2014. That's the thing. I didn't see crypto as a speculative asset at all. I saw it as a vehicle for big business, global business, 24/7, restock anytime kind of business, because you have payments that are clearing instantly. So if I sold you a teacup, I can go rebuy it right away because that crypto already arrived. You see, I could have already the person supplying me with the cups, and I could already be sending them the crypto you just already sent me. What's going to speed this world up any faster than that? You can't tell me, you see, because it doesn't exist. It's right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
So since 2014, I was in San Francisco already for like half a year, and I was like, no one's fulfilling this need. I want to do it. A lot of hurdles along the way, but here we are. It's upon us. We will have it now.
I definitely agree with you, Dan. I see blockchain as the future, and to have much more social impact than the internet itself. I think a lot of new people coming in that see Safex, one of the biggest questions they have is the difference between Safex token and Safex cash. I'm wondering if you could explain that to the listeners.
Yeah, totally. So like I mentioned, 2014 came up with this idea, had a bunch of investors kind of interested, kind of peeking in, getting their feet wet a little bit, their toes, they're nibbling on the market. But I think the investment in 2014 into crypto was like $30 million across the industry. And it's like, it wasn't so simple. So Safex token was launched in 2015 as an ICO, but an ICO in the 2015 sense, not the 2017 sense. So in 2015, the ICO for Safex token raised about 200 Bitcoins worth $50,000, and 99% of the tokens were sold. Okay, so these are very important aspects. 99% of tokens were sold. 1% I kept for myself at the founding, total value of $500. Wow. And $50K in Bitcoin. So the token was issued then. And the token always was to be there to collect a 5% fee from the marketplace. So if you hold this token, you get your share of the 5% fee of all the buys of products of the marketplace. Now, the purpose of the Safex token, that spawns like a cooperative, because it's like people in 2015 one day said, Dan, if you're going to go ahead and do this, we need to establish ourselves. Let's make a token. So 171 people tuned in, put like 200, 500 each. We distributed this token to everybody, and now we're a community. We're a cyberspace organization, decentralized in its finest. Fast forward now, before we fast forward, now look at this. I'm the biggest critic of ICOs being considered currencies. So Safex token, I don't consider it like a currency, because it's all been issued on an ICO. So it's not the best currency. It's an interesting, amazing asset, very unique, have very good properties, but it's not currency in the sense of you want to transact with it every day, all the time. You see what I mean? So for that, we launched the Safex Cash. And the Safex Cash is the proof of work reward for maintaining the blockchain, the Safex blockchain. Because in my opinion, a lot of people wanted our token to become a masternode project, but a masternode project, I'm not the biggest fan of masternodes. I think they're good for creating an app and stuff like that, but they don't make the best currency because you're putting more money on top of the money, right? So you have like money printing more money through the block creation and stuff like that. On top of that, it's possible that the network could be interfered with a proof of stake type masternode arrangement. So far, in my opinion, proof of work is the best reliable way to limit people's influence on the blockchain without starting to spend resources in the 3D physical space. In a masternode project, you just buy coins, and if you have a lot of them, you're starting to take control of the world. Now, on a proof of work, it doesn't matter your coins because you could go always to the store and buy computer hardware and start mining that thing and start influencing that way. And so in one scenario, you have no way to change your vote. In the other way, you can always change from an external perspective. And that's really important, I think, for the development of a currency and a decentralized blockchain network. So that's why we issued the Safex Cash. So yeah, Safex Cash, CPU mineable. It has a unique way to distribute the currency. In Bitcoin, if you weren't there on the first day, you're getting the short end of the stick, just like many other proof of work cryptocurrencies out there. Safex kind of inverted that, where every year the block reward increases until the 7th year. And that's because over a 20-year period, the rate of adoption will reach its peak around the 7th year. So we want to distribute the most amount of currency when we expect the most people to be on our network, not at the beginning when the fewest amount of people are on the network. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. I guess just a question about that then. Would that discourage folks from joining the network early then?
So Satoshi had to do that to inspire people to get in there ASAP. We now know where crypto is at. Crypto is a force, and we need it to improve our world. So I don't need to hype the hell out of you to get the few coins that will be there all at the beginning so you could dump them on the future people. I just didn't want to be in that position. So if people are only mining to be there right away to then dump later, no problem, could do without it.
Now you guys have a staking program too. Do you mind explaining the details of the staking program?
So about staking the token, you mean, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it's not proof of stake like traditional masternode, whatever. But if you lock in this token, you will get a share of the revenue coming from the marketplace platform. For example, eBay is charging like 12% platform fee. Alibaba charges like 9% plus all kinds of charge fees for processing credit cards and different kind of payment methods. Amazon's charging 15 to 45%. So the way I see it, the token is a good way to incentivize people to promote activity in the marketplace. So we're charging 5% for every purchase on the marketplace, and that goes in a pool. And that pool is distributed proportionally to token holders who stake their tokens. So that's kind of the return for seeding the 200 Bitcoins back in 2015.
Okay, now is that going to be something in one of the next releases, or how do you go about staking the token?
Yeah, so we've been testing for like the last 4 months with a group of people, about 20 people, in real time, the marketplace. And we're just wrapping up. We're putting a GUI wallet, something you could click on. That's coming along pretty well. Along with all that, you're going to be able to stake and buy and sell the whole nine. So it's imminent. Like, I don't want to give a specific date. I want to say like in a month, but I mean, not more than like a month from now, you'll be able to do all these things that I'm describing. And the truth is, there's 20 odd some group of people already doing all of this for the last 4 months. We've already been staking, we've already been buying, selling, we've been stress testing, doing everything we can to make a resilient platform that, later we're not going to have to keep updating. You see what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just wrap up this GUI. It's not going to be too pretty in the beginning. It's going to be pretty raw, but let's prove this thing, man. I mean, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can make it look pretty later on, right? As long as it works.
That's right. That's right. I mean, that's the philosophy that I've been leading by, and it's been serving me really damn well so far. So raw functionality, then hand that off to a designer, and
That's
like,
really exciting, Dan.
It is. It's like so many years to come to this point.
All right, let's switch gears a little bit now. I want to go into the Bitcoin halving and how do you think the Bitcoin halving will impact the ecosystem?
Yeah, absolutely. So those 200 Bitcoins, they were worth only 50 grand, but I've been monitoring this whole space pretty damn well and stuff. From the very beginning, I'm a seasoned trader, very successful trader, a millionaire trader, literally. So the halving was like the cornerstone of the future. It's like 2016 halving, I wrote an article. I sent you that link. It's basically all the time people were like, the halving, it's going to go up, it's going to go up. And then I'm like, guys, it's not going to go up right away. It's going to go up after as a result of the halving. And that I gathered from studying the halving before. This one. Before the 2016 halving, I studied the 2012 halving. And the point is that in that halving, the price didn't go up until afterwards. And the reason is because supply drops later, not before the halving. So everything should be normal and constant until then. And then after, who let the dogs out? So the point is, like, this halving, I'm totally on board. It's going to have the same effect like the last time. We're going to have another year and a half of Bitcoin bull running. The supply to the market will be decreasing, and then people will start to put more money into Bitcoin than is being sold at a time. And that's inevitable. So very much looking forward to the Bitcoin halving. I think that the price burst in Bitcoin is going to do a lot of good for the rest of the economy, the crypto economy. A lot of people will start up new businesses and start getting really active again. It's going to be really great if it does boom like I'm hoping. I don't think it'll go that much higher, but I'm very conservative guy. I predicted that in the last halving, it'll go up to like 3,500. I was wrong by 6 times. So it'll be nice to be wrong again. But I think this time we'll end up around like 40K, maybe 70K max. But, if I'm wrong again, it'll be like 180 or whatever.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in this space share the same sentiment. What you're saying at the beginning there is that some people have a misunderstanding of the halving, that on the day of the halving that the price is going to go up, but there actually has to be, minor adjustment and difficulty and some technical things happening in the background. So, and what do you think, how's the impact of the Bitcoin halving going to have on the Safex ecosystem?
A lot of times, a lot of speculators out there, trying to stack sats, as they say, and stuff like that. It's all about outperforming Bitcoin. That's kind of like the mantra that I'm running. If it's about Safex, the last time, even before the whole ICO boom, Safex had a pretty damn healthy growth versus Bitcoin. Went all the way up to 1,300 Satoshis, which would be, I think, like 65 times.
Yeah, that's the idea of any small market cap coin, right?
Yeah. 260 times. It went up to like 200 millions plus in valuation, which I thought was totally unnecessary because we were just opening up the company and hiring people. But the point that I'm trying to make is that I think that a product like Safex is decoupled from Bitcoin. Like, yeah, it's a small cap, but it's also has had an unfinished product, which is now changing. And so the adoption rate will be more excessive than, let's say, in Ethereum trying to overtake Bitcoin, for example. You see what I mean? So I think that Safex has a very strong position to stay constant and exceed Bitcoin's growth, which is like, the best combination you could want from trading a coin or building a product that is bringing value to the masses.
That's really cool stuff. Possibly question of the night. In the Safex Cash Orbiter wallet, do you prefer the light or the dark theme?
I'm using the light theme.
You like the light theme? Okay.
Yeah. I was very driven by bright colors and light looking things. So dark mode looks cool and everything, but the light mode is mine. You know what I mean? Like I was the influence of the look and feel of light mode.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but I really love, if you go like on CoinMarketCap, to the flagship exchange that's trading Safex is Excalibra, but if you go in there, it's so pretty, this kind of neon green, neon blue, and this neon-y orange with the Bitcoin. It's really, I'm a big fan. I like these kind of colors that are appealing, and crypto, it has to be for the people. If people can't identify with it, it's not a good thing, honestly. It can't stay, just for edge case people like us. You know what I mean? It has to be there for every person.
Yeah, no, that's a good take on it. I think it's good to have options. More options is better. So I've already kind of talked about the next steps in terms of, we talked about the GUI coming out and the staking, but I wanted to know if there's any other near or long-term future plans you can talk about from the developer releases or just from the community in general, anything like maybe the long-term.
Boom. So that's something really important. Mining, this is very accessible mining setup. You could do it from your home computer because it's a CPU bound. You can set up a rig for a few $100s that doesn't take up a lot of electricity. And we built an operating system that you literally just flash the USB drive. You don't even need a hard drive. You set up your motherboard, your CPU, and plug in and the RAM and plug in this USB, and you're off to the races. You're mining. You don't have to do any intensive configurations. So I'm really proud of that, and we're putting that together to release to everybody because mining Safex Cash is really competitive. You can actually get coins into your wallet in real time, and then when there's products online over there, you can go and buy them with that mined currency, or you can mine some currency, some Safex Cash, and then start listing your products without going out and buying a few Safex Cash.
That's absolutely amazing, actually. I mean, it's direct utility, and you don't have to kind of jump from multiple platforms. I mean, if you can buy and sell things and earn the cash right from a mining, that's really cool.
That's I can't wait to release that. We're in the very, very late stages of releasing that, and I can put together a rig and set up this software in under 5 minutes. It's so cool. And then it's producing me 100 Safex Cash per day. Go figure. Yeah, it's just...
That's cool. I definitely want to set that up. So when that's ready to go, I'll definitely be on the lookout for that. I'll give that a go for sure. Yeah. Now I do some random X mining right now. So
yeah, if you're doing random X, then you're already... Ours is random SFX. Okay. Yeah, you can switch that configuration if you're already running like XM rig or something like that. You can change from, I guess, RX/RX or RX/0 to RX/SFX. It's already embedded in the XM rig if you're already familiar with XM rig. The privacy side of things in Safex is it's not to protect bad guys and stuff like that. Bad guys will always get caught. They always make a mistake somewhere. But the thing is, the good people, people not doing crimes, if your balances are not obfuscated, you are a target. If you have a Bitcoin wallet with thousands of Bitcoins, you are a target, man. So to just protect the bottom line of normal people, everyday activity, you need privacy. End of the story. You can't have a global blockchain ledger. I don't care where you're from, what you're doing, anything. You're doing crimes. You're paying for food to the food shelf. Everybody needs to have the privacy if you're on the blockchain. It doesn't matter. And here's why. You're on Bitcoin, you're a government, every government knows all your money. Done. You see what I mean? It's like, follow the money, never been easier. So that's why privacy. That's why this world won't work without full obfuscation of balances of the users. That's it.
I tend to share a lot of the same philosophy that libertarians have. Although, I do, there's not all things, there's some aspects of, the other sides of the spectrum that I respect too, but I definitely share a lot of these individual monetary privacy, I guess, financial freedom and not being able to be stopped or your funds to be taken from you, whether it be from a robber or a government or whoever. So it's something I really respect out of any project or coin or token. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy, got lots on the go with Safex, but I was wondering if you just let the listeners know where to go to learn more and where they can find find you online?
Yeah, so safex.io is still a pretty damn good place to kind of see the whole picture. We are, revamping everything. We've been really focused on the software development of the marketplace and stuff. But yeah, safex.io and twitter.com/Dan Dabek. Those are two very, let's say, close to the heart places you can learn about Safex and a lot of what I talked about here.
That's great. I think we covered a lot, and there's a lot to digest here. So thanks again for your time and coming onto the podcast.
No, man, a huge thanks. This is probably the best interview, hangout, chat I've had ever, because all the time I've been like, we're gonna have this eventually, we're gonna have it. We have it. So, this is like
That's great.
the first since that happened, and like this is the best. Seriously. Thanks a lot for your support and keeping the ideals, the paradigm, and into the future we go. For real.
That's awesome. It's an honor that you said that here on my podcast.
Have a great evening.
Thanks, you too, man. Have a good weekend. Stay safe.
Thank you all for listening to episode 25 of the Halving Report with myself, Brad Mines, and our guest, Dan Dabek. Be sure to like and subscribe and check out all the information in the show notes.